mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the turtle monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain, and this is The Eyes Have It, Chult of Personality Tomb of Annihilation campaign, episode 57. That's right, this is our Tomb of Annihilation campaign that is happening every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/Mini-Terrain Domain. And just a little while ago, we crossed the 2-year mark for this campaign. And by the time it's all done, it'll be close to 2.5 years that we will have played in this adventure. So I'm curious to see how many episodes we actually get to. Although it could be 57, depending on how it goes tonight. We'll see. This tomb is trying to kill you all, but has not succeeded yet. And if it doesn't kill you, it's definitely trying to drive you mad, as we will see with your new golden skull companion, the gem eater, Yak himself. But we'll get to that in just a moment. First off, just a quick reminder that if you want to contribute to the stream and to the luck of the players in the form of these domain devils down below, you can do so by tipping just $5, a 500-bit cheer, a subscription, a resubscription, or raids will also contribute to that. And it's a way that the players can reroll dice, force me to reroll dice, and so much more. But they can only do it if you provide them with those domain dice. And the other thing I want to say, because I think it's important to say this in every game that we run, is you matter. You are important, and you are loved, and your presence on this earth makes a difference whether you know it or not. I know I say the same thing every week, but it's because I mean it. We mean it. But things can be difficult, and sometimes you need somebody to talk to, and so we are providing a link to some resources for you. You can at any time type !help in the chat, as I have just done, and that will bring up a couple of numbers for you. First off, it'll bring up the National Suicide Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Trained professionals are waiting to talk to you on the other end of that line. And if you're a veteran and you want to talk to somebody that has some expertise on veteran needs, you can press 1 when you get through on that, or you can text 741-741. In Canada, you can text the crisis text line, texting the word connect for English, or parlay for French, to 686-868, or you can call the Canada Suicide Prevention Service number, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, available in French or English. Toll free 1-833-456-4566. And if you are not in America or Canada, you can go to the link provided down below. There's no affiliation, but it was a very helpful resource that I found at opencounseling.com/suicide-hotlines. And that resource provides numbers for suicide lifelines around the world. There are numerous countries, both phone and text, that are represented there. So again, please do not hesitate to use those resources if you need them. And now, as I wet my palate, we are going to escape for the next couple hours into the world of Dungeons and Dragons, into Acererak's latest Tomb of Annihilation, where we have left the half-elf paladin Vale Istafall, the elven archer, arcane archer Taliel, the Aasimar warlock Brilinya, and the half-orc fighter Kualu. All that remains of those searching for the cure to the death curse. When last we left them, they had made their way through the first 2.5 or so levels of Acererak's Tomb of the Nine Gods. They have found and interacted with and acquired the treasures from 6 of the 9 trickster gods entombed within. They have most recently found 5 crystal eyes, each 1 inch in diameter, though they don't yet or have not yet determined what these eyes could mean. They have also recently picked up a new adventurer, Taliel, who has quickly become a regular part of this group. But unfortunately, they keep finding members of Taliel's former adventuring party deceased. I believe, let's see, they found Bravis. They found, I forget what his name was, Devin or Davos, with the goat staff that Kualu now carries, which also contributes to his occasional bleating like a goat. That's bleating, not bleeding. Let's see, they also found the knight, I forget his name, who had been turned into one of the Tomb Guardians. Is that all they found? All you found of your previous adventuring party thus far?
I think so. That's what I've got written down. Devlin, Bravis, and Seward, because I recognized his eyeballs.
Yeah, Seward. Devlin. I said Davos or Devin. I didn't get either of them right. But yeah, you've cleverly solved. The deeper you get, you are solving these puzzles, and whether Acererak meant to confuse you or offer you the slightest glimmer of hope, you have been using his clues that he has provided quite astutely. A couple of these puzzles you figured out almost immediately. Most recently, you found the final resting place of the trickster god of the Frogamoth, Kubazan. You solved the puzzle of the frescoes, providing the proper offering in the proper manner. Opening the sarcophagus, Taliel reached in and grabbed the bracers of archery that were in there and failed to resist the inhabitation of Kubazan's spirit. Vale has long been inhabited by the spirit of Obalaka. And Brilinya willingly took on the spirit of Ijin in a previous tomb. You have also encountered Moa and Wongo. There was one other one. Or was it only 5 that you've encountered? You got... You'd think I would know this.
Doesn't Vale have 2 in his head?
No, only one.
Oh,
It
just
pushed,
one.
he had Kubazan previously from when they were acquiring the puzzle cubes.
Gotcha.
So let me just take a look here at who our... So Kubazan, Moa, Nang Nang was the other one that you had encountered. Yes. Okay. And then most recently, besides that, you found a what appeared to be one of Acerak's rooms that served the only purpose it served was to torture and possibly kill adventurers. Tapestries that showed a more and more depraved scene of debauchery and revelry that ended in both Brilinya and Qualu willingly placing their heads inside the jaws of a severed boar's head mounted on the wall, both of whom took extensive bites before I believe it was Taliel who ran in and grabbed the jaws and ripped the lower jaw off of this thing and freed her companions, also unlocking a couple small pieces of treasure. But Taliel clearly taking advantage of the benefits of being inhabited by the Froggamoth trickster god Kubazan with that incredible strength. You went back to investigate the hallway, finding a secret door into a small room in which you found the golden skull of a human that would prove to be somebody named Yak. The skull now floats next to Taliel, who touched it, and is going to be her companion for who knows how long. He craves gems, which he grinds into a fine dust and eats up and devours. You have currently only fed him 10 gold pieces worth of gems thus far. And in that same room, there was a small crawlway that Brilinya investigated, peered into a small trapezoidal room that held a iron lever and a tomb guardian standing sentinel with one hand on the lever. There was a window in this room, though she could not see what was through that window. She chose to go back to her party. And that's where we pick you up, in this room, with the skull of Yak floating alongside, just basically hovering just above and behind your right shoulder, Taliel. What would you all like to do? Don't you were adventurers? You're just standing around like you're waiting for an adventure to happen to you.
You're named after what happens when you drink too much ale.
Or I'm named after a powerful beast.
What, the yakka beetle?
A yak.
Yeah, big, smelly, stupid animal. Right. So, do we just move that tomb guardian out of the way? Pull that lever? Actually, no, I am definitely not one who should be pulling any levers in any way, shape, or form at all. Maybe one of you can. I'll just stand far, far back.
That was one lever. That couldn't possibly happen again.
Yes, it could.
You act like something bad happened the last time you pulled a lever.
You did!
Almost everyone died. It's fine.
3 people were unconscious, impaled on spikes in a 20-foot pit. Taliel wasn't there for that.
No, Taliel's listening wide-eyed to this story of horror.
Maybe Taliel should open it then. Pull the lever.
Pull the lever. So you want to go in and kill the tomb guardian?
That was a pretty small space, wasn't it? That Brilinya had.
Yes, the space was basically it was a sort of small trapezoid that at its widest point was 5 foot by 15 feet with a sort of another area that goes to the north that was a 5 by 5. So it is a very small space. In terms of 5-foot squares. One of them is occupied by a tomb guardian that literally leaves room for 3 people to go in there and have a very tight space.
Mhm.
And just as a reminder, because we did have that long break, and with the maps I've provided you, other areas you had, when you had gone from the central area of the central staircase balcony area, there was a, when you came down the stairs, or no, at the top of the stairs leading down, you had gone through a hallway to the south, and then you went to the east, which led you to the waterfall mirror room. There was another crawlway to the west. There was also 2 crawlways, one in the northeast and one in the southeast of that water room. Another crawlway all the way to the north, right before you went into that area where the hieroglyphic room was. And you believe between the room in which you are standing now with the skull and the room that you crawled to, Brilinya, that might line up with where the spiral staircase was outside of the albino dwarf's office on the floor above.
What if we attached a rope? Sorry, did you say that the tomb guardian was holding the lever?
Yes.
Or just...
He has one hand on the lever and was just standing perfectly still.
Why don't we just leave him be and go to that south passage from the balcony and go west?
That might be the best idea.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of backtrack out all the way to where you went in towards the water, but go to the west instead of the east?
Yes.
Okay. So you can do so easily enough. Passing by where you slew the 2 chained tomb guardians, heading back out into the balcony area, looking down into the balcony area, you can see much closer that lower level that has the statues of something you can't quite make out down below. Wandering all the way around back down to that southern hallway. Instead of going to the east, you choose west. It only goes 15 feet, and set into the northern wall is another crawl space, very much like the one in the previous room. Who wants to crawl through?
I'll do it.
Okay. We all volunteer. Like, no, I'll do
No, Kawalu should, because he's the only one who didn't volunteer.
Yeah, but you see, it's because
Qualu's too thick to fit through.
No, Qualu can fit. It's just a tight fit. Anybody can fit through the. Qualu's not as big as he thinks he is. It's just his. It's just his head.
Whole campaign.
It's just his head that has a hard time fitting through.
Qualu's still adamant that he will not fit, even if he will.
Well, I'm going to go anyway. So, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, at least 3 of us have to be the brave ones if Qualu won't. So I'm cool with that. So, I'm going to start. I'm going to start crawling through. I might actually kind of pull out my rapier and just kind of inch along.
Okay.
So in case there's something that comes like sneaking out, I can at least stab it in the face.
All right. So you begin crawling through. After barely 7 feet, it takes a sharp turn to the west. And You move another 15 feet, and you find yourself facing the face of a snarling minotaur, etched into a sheet of iron that is blocking the crawlway. The eyes of this minotaur have been cut out, letting you see through, beyond which you can see that the tunnel continues onward. Looking at this iron sheet that is blocking the passage, it looks like you could possibly try to move it. And like I said, there are holes cut in the eye so you can see through to the other side. If you had another means by which you wanted to try to bypass the door. Or you could try to open it.
Is it just like the crawl space that continues, or does it look like it opens up?
It looks like the crawl space continues for another 15 feet and then curves back down to the south.
Okay, I'll All right, I'll go back out, tell the rest of the party what I found. Explain why, explain the sheet and everything, and we'll just finish it off with perhaps this is a way we should all go together. Maybe if I can move the iron, we'll just keep on going, and I don't know, maybe it's just another trap, or maybe it's something important. Who knows with this place? Nobody? All right. It's fine. Never mind. Just stay here then. I'll be all right. I'll just go myself.
Look, I've been in this place a very long time, and I'm certain that this half-elf knows what he's talking about. This has got to be the way to get to... I don't know, you're trying to get out? Are you looking for more treasure? What is it? What is your goal? We never really talked about that.
So if you don't know where we want to go, how do you know this is the way to go?
Well, I know that it's if you follow this way, you're going to get there from here. But you can't get there if you just stand here in silence.
Well, hang on a minute, because you've been on that plinth for quite some time, have you not?
I've been here in the tomb for quite some time.
I see you've just been floating around.
I've been here in this tomb for a very long time. I have seen and heard things like you would not believe.
But you don't have eyes.
I don't have a voice box or lungs either, but I'm talking to you, am I not?
Yeah, fucking magic. Anyway, let's just go. I'm not going to stand here and have a logical debate with a golden floating skull. Are you sure that the last ruler, and I'm going to start crawling in, are you sure the last ruler of Omu didn't, maybe do this not really as an honor or more like a curse or something?
I'm pretty sure it was, a form of honor to be placed amongst the gods. I served for a very long time as the court jester to the king of Omu.
Yes, no,
He assured me that this was the best possible way to honor me. When he beheaded me, my head fell into a pile of pure gold and platinum.
He beheaded you.
Well, of course, I was not going to be able to have a gold-dipped skull in a place of honor for eternity if I still had my head on my shoulders.
So while they're having this conversation and he's crawling away, Taliel would like to be looking at the very end of this corridor that kind of dead ends, and she'd like to check to see if there's anything remotely like a door or some sort of passage that would continue on that way.
All right, give me an investigation check.
13.
You thoroughly check around the walls, the floor, the seams, and as you're kind of down along the edge of the floor at the end of this hall, feeling for any drafts or cracks, there's a piece of that purple fungus growing in the corner. And as you're looking down, all of a sudden, an eyeball comes up, like look right next to your face, looks at you, goes really wide, and disappears really quickly. Other than that, you do not find any secret doors.
Okay. Yeah. Are we following Vale, or are we letting him take care of that iron plate first?
Vale had suggested that you all follow him, whether you did or not.
Yeah.
Vale, were you going to try to open it then?
Yep.
All right. I will need a strength check from you. Athletics.
All right. I think I can just about do that. Give me that good stuff. All right. That is a 14.
You are trying to find a handhold on this, and eventually you find that for you, the best place you can get a hold is those eye sockets. And you sense that there's movement. It wants to raise up, but you just don't have the strength to do it. It's going to take somebody with a little more strength, probably, to get this to actually move.
Can I try one more time for good measure?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. Spit on my hands. Rub them together. Not letting some piece of iron beat me. Oh, now that's better. That is a 25.
You hear that voice behind you. Yeah, sure. Spit on your hands and rub them together. I'm sure that's going to really help. And as you grab the door, you get a hold of the shape of the Minotaur etched in, and you push up on it, and there's this. And you can feel as you're adjusting your grip and lifting, as it raises about 3 inches, it clears the bottom, and you can get your hand down and get up under the edge, and you push it up, and you feel it just as it gets up to the ceiling level. It sort of, it locks into place, and you feel it, the weight of it come back down just a fraction, but some sort of latch has held it open. And the passage is now clear.
I'll look back at Yak and magic spit. Keep on crawling.
Yak doesn't say anything. All right, is everybody following along behind? All right. After about 15 feet, it curves again sharply to the south, and you find yourself in a 5-foot-long corridor. This corridor extends 15 feet to the east, dead end, but in the south wall, there is another narrow crawl space. Or it continues for another 15, 30, 40 feet to the west, where you can see some sort of light coming from the floor, but that's all. It's at the end of a hall. So as you all emerge into this area, and of course there is some more of that purple lichen in here. So you have the light at the end of the tunnel, or you have a narrow crawl space to the south. You're in the lead, Vale, so you need to make a decision which way you're going to go.
Sorry, how far does the crawl space go?
So if you go to the east 15 feet, it's the 5-foot wide hallway. But then there's another crawl space access in the south part of that hall. or it
Okay.
continues to the west for 40 feet, and there's a light at the end.
All right, I'll turn back and say, why don't the rest of you go towards the light? I'll head down this crawl space, have a quick look to see what's actually over there.
Right. Split the party. That has always worked.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
We get more covered that way.
Mhm.
And Taliel will happily head towards the west. Knowing as she sees that east, like, I knew there was a door there, but couldn't find it.
All right. The fun part of when people split up is I have to keep track of both sections and where you are. Okay. So then, Vale, you were heading towards that crawl space. All right, Vale, you see the crawl space. You can see, only as you look at it, it only goes about 10 feet and seems to open into a large room. You'd have to crawl in to actually get a look in that room. But you can see that it only goes about 10 feet before you're looking into a room. And you can see a bit of light coming from inside this room.
I think I guess the worst thing is, I guess I could just poke my head out and have a quick look.
Sure. You poke your head into a room that you can see that you are at the westernmost edge of a room that is 5, 10, 15, about 25, 30 feet across, and is just over 100 feet long. Right near you, on the westernmost wall, you can see there is a balcony. And at the far eastern end of this room, there is another balcony. There is a pit down below that is looks like it drops to be about 60 feet below you, the floor of this pit. However, this room has 5 circular 10-foot diameter platforms that are floating between the 2 balconies. At the far easternmost balcony, you see that there is a torch, just like there is one on the westernmost. But on the far easternmost balcony is a 15-foot tall statue of a fiend with furled wings and clenched fists. On the balcony that is closest to you, set into the wall, very near you, like if you crawled out, sort of pushed yourself to the edge, you could leap over to this balcony. There is a rusty iron lever in the up position. And you can see that this balcony leads to a set of stairs leading upward. Meanwhile, the others of you are in the long hallway that leads towards light. Who was taking the lead going towards the light? Taliel. All right. You make your way towards the end of this room. You're in a 5-foot wide hallway with a 10-foot tall ceiling. As you move towards the end, you find that the light is actually coming up from a hole in the floor. This hole is 3 feet wide and is about 4 feet long and drops into a room that appears to be almost pure light.
I think at this, Taliel would grab out her rope of climbing that she has and throw it to Koalu and say, brace me, I'm going to crawl down inside.
Okay.
All right. So you drop the rope down into this room and you begin crawling towards the light. Vale, are you taking any action in this long room?
The only thing I want to see, so are there no other doors? Like, it appears like there's no other way to go in except for that one stairwell that seems to lead up beside the statue.
The stairwell is not on the statue. So you've got two balconies, one at the western edge, and you're at the western edge. That has the lever set in the wall and the stairs that lead up. The far eastern edge, about 100 feet away from you, that balcony has the fiend statue with the clenched fists. And there is, just over its shoulder, a crawlway leading in.
Okay. I am just going to go back the way I came and over to the rest of the party.
All right.
Because I'm not an idiot.
You see Brilinya standing there. Koalu is in front of her, holding on to the end of a rope. And Taliel is already down in the hole. Taliel, you are lowering down through these narrow walls, through this, what is essentially a stone rectangular tunnel, until after just a few feet, you find yourself in a room that is shaped sort of like a cylinder lying on its side. The south end seems to taper towards a small stone door, and the entirety of this room, around the edges, there are carvings of demons that decorate the stonework, and every one of them has these bright, ever-burning, flickering flames in their eyes, and that is the source of the light. Now that you're down in the room, it doesn't seem as overpowering, but coming from the dark hallway, that's why you could only see light. This room that you are in, that you're sort of dangling into, is essentially 15 by 15, but the southern 5 feet sort of tapers all the way around. And it is completely circular. There is no flat surface in this room, except for the north and south walls.
And there's just a bunch of demon faces.
Yep, and then a
Around
door,
walls.
and then there's a door on the south wall.
On the south wall. Can I, you said that like the floor is all curved and so can I get to it easily? Do you?
Yeah,
If I'm looking at it?
you would drop. You're just kind of dangling above it, but you can drop down into it. You just sort of come in through this opening near the top.
Yeah, okay. I will do that. I will drop down and go to that doorway.
Okay.
I think immediately, like after a minute or two has passed, Brilinya's gonna call down to Taliel.
Well, a minute or two is not going to pass, because here's what happens.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
As soon as you drop into the room, Taliel, you all hear, though muffled through stone, Taliel, you hear it the loudest, and it seems to come from the north somewhere. You hear shakum, what sounds like a heavy iron lever being thrown. And the room begins to rotate. This, remember I said it's like a barrel laying on its side. And you're on these curved walls, the floor and the walls. It begins to rotate. Shoom, shoom, shoom. And I need everybody to roll for initiative. We are going to begin to move in initiative order. So let's go ahead and roll some initiative. As Taliel is going to attempt to make her way to the door in this room. Taliel, what you got?
Dirty 20.
Vale.
17.
Brilinya.
16.
Qualu.
13.
All right, Taliel, you drop into the room, and it begins. Zoom, zoom, zoom. It doesn't pick up speed. It's just a steadily rotating around. You also hear, you hear that shakum in the area of the, interesting. You feel the rope above your head tighten. Qualu, as you're looking down below into the room, stone seals the hole that Taliel dropped through, pinching off the magical rope. Taliel, at the far end of this room, you also hear where the door is. Shkum, shkum, shkum. All right, Taliel, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think she's still going towards that door on the south.
Okay, first I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Uh-huh.
I will say that you get advantage on this because this entire room is a trap.
This is a trap. Okay. You said dexterity?
Yep.
That's a 16.
All right, so you are only going to take 7 points of bludgeoning damage as you're getting knocked around this room.
Okay, so I also have resistance to damage dealt by traps. So
okay, so you only take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
4, perfect. Okay.
Okay, so you're going to make your way to the door.
Oops. Yes, I'm making my way to the door. We're trying to, at least.
Okay, you can get to the door. It's not that far. What are you going to do with the door?
When I'm at the door, is the room still, is that part still
The room is
around?
spinning, but the door is sort of firm in place. What this means is you would, to do whether you're going to attack it or try to open it or whatever you're going to try to do, would normally be at disadvantage, but because of your special ability, it'll be a straight roll.
Okay, I'm going to try to open it.
Give me a strength athletics check.
Yeah, baby. So that 24.
You strain at this door, and it's a little difficult because you're trying to keep your feet under you as this room is moving. You feel it flexing. It wants to give, but you just don't quite have it.
Wow.
So that is your turn.
Yes, it is.
So it's one. Vale, you're going to be next.
Okay, so now just help me out here because I think I got a little bit lost. We're not all down.
Nope. Everybody's in the hallway except for Taliel, who on her own descended in by a rope and dropped in.
Okay. Then I will probably go to the I'll probably go to the edge and look down, try and see if I can see.
Where there was light coming through the hole before, it is now darkness because it looks like stone has shifted to block that hole. You can see Qualu is holding what was Taliel's rope of climbing, and it is pinched, kind of pushed up against one side. Where there was formerly a tunnel, there is now just stone.
Jeez. Is there a what happens if I kept going forward? like moving forward? Because obviously, I'm assuming I can't. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to push that stone out of the way.
Well, I mean, you're at the end. You're kind of looking down into a hole where the stone is. So, I mean, you could try to drop down on top of the stone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Give me a intelligence check. And if you're trained in it, or if you want to, I guess you could add your Arcana to this. That helps.
It does not.
Right,
I got a 7.
Yeah, you're on your own. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, it basically looks like stone shifted to cover this hole. Taliel's rope is sort of pushed to one side. So it's either some kind of stone slab or something that was triggered to close the room off or something, but you're now standing on top of it.
All right. But there's still a drop in, right? Like the thing, like that one little area, with the exception of the rope. I know that was kind of pinching it off. You said, like, it's not completely closed off. Like I can't drop in that room at all.
No, it is completely closed off.
Okay.
Think of it this way. The room was a cylinder that had a chute that led into it from the side. Sort of if you had a bunghole in the side of a drum.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right?
That makes sense, yeah.
And as soon as she triggered the trap, the bunghole was closed off.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So your entrance into the drum room is blocked.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was waiting for somebody to jump on the bunghole joke. Kudos to Mike for leaving that one alone. I thought for sure Mike would be the one to...
No. You know what? I guess out of the 4 of us, one of us has to be the mature one.
Poor chat has no idea. All they know is, Mike, you didn't say anything. They don't know which of the 3 others did.
Megan's side eye though was like that was just perfect. That was lovely. Okay, well, I mean, I guess there's really nothing else I can do.
All right, so you're just going to stand on the block.
Well, I mean, I guess we could try and move it. I'll try and move that stone. I'm guessing that'll be what? Athletics, strength?
Yeah.
Wait, athletics or strength?
Athletics is strength.
Okay. Just checking. Nice. Little natty 17, so that'll be a 25.
Okay.
Gotta love that. +8.
With that strength, you sort of use the rope. And a bit of a bit of adrenaline is sort of kicked in because your friend is trapped on the other side of this. And you're bracing yourself and you're pulling, and you actually feel a bit of the edge of this wall sort of chip. And you don't succeed in opening it, but you succeed in breaking apart a section of the wall. You realize that whatever this stone is, you can probably break away at it. So you have successfully damaged this wall a little bit. All right, that's going to be Brilinya. Vale's down in the hole, breaking away through raw strength, breaking away at this stone. Taliel's trapped somewhere on the other side. What are you doing?
So I might be misremembering, but when Brilinya went into the crawl space and she saw the Tomb Guardian, did you say that there was like a window?
There was a window, but you could not see through it. because of the angle at which you chose not to go in that room. Basically, so if my hand is the room that had the Tomb Guardian, and the Tomb Guardian is sort of where my thumb is, okay?
Uh-huh.
And the window was right here on my palm. This is all mirror image, so it's throwing me off. You were coming in right here, sort of on the same wall. You were coming in from this angle. All right, here we go. This pen is the... Good Lord, mirrors. This pen is the... So that's where... Oh my gosh, hold on. I'm going nuts trying to do this. I'm going to...
So my question is, she couldn't see through the window, but and I'm looking, but I can't really see because where we are, I think, is blocked off. But do I see the window on one of the walls on this corridor?
No, you do
Or are
not.
we further back? You do not.
No, and hold on a second, because I just screwed something up. Okay, I fixed it. I somehow opened another app. 1 second. I'm gonna... So, if you remember, Brilinya, when you went into the room where you got Yak the Golden Skull, you went down some stairs. So that level, and where you saw the Tomb Guardian in the window, was actually below where you are. Which you can, based on the way you're puzzling this out, I will tell you, the window looks into the room that is below you right now that Taliel is currently trapped in.
Oh, okay.
I will, after this session, I will show you guys from the Tomb of Annihilation, the section, the diagram they use, and show you why this took me forever to understand how this trap worked. And maybe it's I'm an idiot, but the fact that I'm having trouble relaying to you exactly how this is laid out tells me I'm not an idiot. This is just a very difficult... They're trying to... They've basically established a 3-dimensional trap within what is traditionally a 2-dimensional map space, if that makes sense. But it sounds like you get it. So, looking at it like this, another visual image here, this water bottle is the room that Taliel is stuck in. You guys are in a hallway above it. Taliel dropped through into it and is currently trying to get out through the door at this end, but you saw a window on this end through which you can surmise the Tomb Guardian saw her go into the room and through the switch.
Yeah, because I have this, well, I guess I have this suspicion that it was that lever because of how you said so gosh, that is a long way back to get to that.
What is your speed?
My speed is 30 feet.
So you could dash, and then so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to take you like 10 rounds of dashing. Because there's a couple of crawlways, it would take you like 10 rounds to get all the way back to the other side. Brilinya has this realization in about 1.4 seconds as Vale is ripping apart at the stone. So,
okay. I'm just gonna ask a question.
Okay. Yeah.
So, if I do my ghostly gaze for this turn, I might be able to see the Guardian because it's 30 feet. So, right? If I can see through walls and solid objects?
Yes.
And if I can see it, does that mean I can cast spells that would require me to have to see the thing? If I can see it with my ghostly gaze.
So ghostly gaze is a function of your being a warlock, correct? It's
an invocation.
It's an invocation, and you are a celestial. But that's just a standard invocation, correct?
Yes.
All right. As an action, you gain the ability to see through solid objects to a range of 30 feet. Within that range, you have dark vision if you don't already have it. This special sight lasts for 1 minute or until your concentration ends, as if you were concentrating on a spell. During that time, you perceive objects as ghostly, transparent images. Once you use this invocation, you can't use it again until you finish a short rest. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to allow, because you're burning a full action to cast Ghostly Gaze, which takes, what did it say? And it lasts for a full minute. I will say this. You can attempt to cast a spell. If it requires you to be able to see, then I'm probably going to have you make a roll to see if you can force your spell to move through that way.
Okay.
Because I like the idea that it might work.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So are you then using your turn to Ghostly Gaze?
Yes. And then
So that's your
Yes.
action. That takes an action to do Ghostly Gaze.
yes.
Now, are you only going to look in that area right now?
She's just gonna do like kind of like a sweep of below where she thinks Taliel is, and then towards.
Yeah, so with that 30 feet and where you're standing, you can 100% see this ghostly image of Taliel getting tumbled around. Taliel seems to be struggling with a door at the south end of this chamber. You see the Tomb Guardian in this little room that you saw before with its hand on the lever. You see a door that you didn't see previously just to the north edge of that Tomb Guardian, and it does indeed lead to the spiral staircase that you suspected was there. You can also see with that 30 feet that on the other side of the door Taliel is trying to open, there is a room that is, let me see, 5, 10, 15, 20. You can see most of a room that seems to be roughly 20 by 30 feet. And there seems to be some kind of a pit and some statues in that room. So, yep.
Another question is to just prove that she's right. Is the tomb guard, is the lever different?
Oh, compared to what you saw it as before?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah.
Previously, it was in the up position, and it still has its hand on the lever, and its face is turned toward that window.
Okay. So I think Brilinya would relay that information to Vale and Qualu. That it's the Tomb Guardian doing it, but it's really far away.
That was the longest 6 seconds. No, that's perfectly fine, because this is a confusing trap, and I want to make sure that you all understand exactly how this is, because it's just bizarro. Okay, so Brilinya has done that. Qualu, what do you want to do?
So now that we've determined who's causing the trap and the fact that it's really far away by conventional methods of travel, if I'm understanding 100%, Crystal?
Mm-hmm. Yes. It would take not just Brilinya, it would take pretty much anybody 10 rounds to get there.
Did Vale successfully crack open the stone that was blocking
He
us off?
chipped away at it enough to tell you that damage can be done. And all he was doing was trying to move it.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't doing a concentrated attack on it. But he had a really high strength roll.
I think Qualu would also like to try to smash through this stone blockade that's pinching off Taliel in this little.
I'll
polisher of
say,
death.
how are you going to attempt to do that?
I have a magic staff that I'm hoping I can just bring it down.
Okay,
the stone.
I'll say that because that this was described as a 3 foot by 4 foot hole, and Vale is a half elf, and you're using a staff from above, you can make an attack down on the stone. You can't get in the hole with him, but you can kind of lean down and attack. You're going to attack at disadvantage and don't roll a 1.
Okay, I will try my best not to roll a 1. With disadvantage, that's a 13 on the dice for some number above 20. Yeah, that'll be 25 to hit with disadvantage.
All right, go ahead and roll damage.
All right, I think, unless this is a really dumb idea, I think I'll burn a charge of my Staff of Striking. Really punch through this the stone. It's going to be 16 plus 3, 9, so 16 magical bludgeoning and 3 force. For a total of 19.
Vale, suddenly Qualu brings this staff down right next to you. And it crashes into the stone under your feet. And you feel the stone crack. You can see light coming through the cracks. It shifts a couple of inches. And as you look, you're staring right into the goat head on the top of the staff with Qualu's half-orc hand gripping it. This thing feels like another good strike, and it will probably break.
I have 3 attacks per turn.
Oh, and that was only 1 attack.
So I'm just keep going then. Same
Yep.
Or
Yeah, it's still disadvantaged because Vale's in the hole.
so that'll be a 14 to hit.
14 total.
Yeah.
You get kind of a wonky hit,
Yeah.
and it doesn't quite do it doesn't do any damage.
And then it'll be an 18 to hit.
Go ahead and roll damage.
Disadvantage actually kind of. That's going to be 14 points of magical bludgeoning.
Vale, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as the stone cracks out from under your feet. Bright light suddenly exposes the area, and you need to see if you're going to drop down in.
That would be a dirty 20.
As the stone drops out from under your feet, you grab hold of the edge of Taliel's rope of climbing that was there. However, Qualu, are you still holding the rope? Because you were striking with your staff. Qualu, I need you to
I would definitely say that no, I was not holding.
I
the
need
rope
you to make a
because-
dexterity saving throw to see if you can grab the end of the rope that Vale has just grabbed a hold of.
Yeah, it's going to be a 12 on the die, which is probably only a 13.
So Vale, there's this moment of relief as you grab hold of the rope. And then you still keep falling. Suddenly
I can imagine it's every like 70s Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Is that
there's this moment where you're going like this.
Yep.
You're just in place, and then you get to the end of the rope, and you're like,
yoinks.
You pan to the fourth wall for a moment. And then, you fall. Taliel, you hear a clamor behind you as a bunch of stone chunks collapse into the room, and a half-elf tumbles into the room. Vale, because of that fall, you are going to take... Excuse me. You're only going to take 4 points of bludgeoning damage. I rolled low. So you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you crash into this room. All right. Taliel, because I am a big fan of having my players roll for their own fate, I would like you to roll a d20 for me.
That is an 8.
The oh wow. You rolled an 8. So, Vale, just as you fall into the room, you see sort of your eyes quickly adjust, and you see all around the edges of this room are, as it's rotating, there's these demon faces. with these ever-burning lights in their flaming lights in their eyes. And Taliel and Vale, you watch as the eyes grow really bright and just sort of go, and sparkling light emits everywhere. And Vale and Taliel, you are now blinded. Oh, no,
Blinded?
correction. Make a saving throw. You are momentarily blinded by these sparkling lights.
That will be...
Make a wisdom. Did I say wisdom?
Yes.
Okay.
Would I get advantage on this because it's a trap?
Yes.
Okay.
That'll be a 16 for me.
That'll be an 18 for me.
Fortunately, the blindness is only momentary as you both think to cover your eyes. Read the whole description, Dungeon Master.
Wait, blinded by what?
Blinded by the light.
Blinded.
If I could sing, I totally would have sang that. I love that song.
Take off like a deuce? You're a runner in the night?
Exactly. We are back to the top of the initiative order. Taliel, momentarily blinded. You attempted to get this door open. You didn't quite have what it took the first time. What would you like to do?
I would like to repeat my efforts of trying to open this door.
All right, this is going to be a straight roll because of the room is spinning, but it's going to be another athletic strength check.
Oh, that's worse than the other ones. That's a total of 12.
You do have 16 domain dice, I will remind you.
Yeah, I rolled a 14 on my die last time and it still didn't work, so I don't know if I want to blow a domain die.
You don't have to. I'm just telling you have them.
Yeah.
So, Taliel, you try, and this door just is not wanting to budge.
Can I use my action surge to do this again?
You absolutely can.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, nope. I'm getting tired. That's
Vale,
14.
you see at the far end of the room, Taliel is struggling, trying to open this door. The room is spinning beneath her feet, and this door is kind of stabilized in this far room. It is your turn, Vale.
Now, is there a way for me to get to the window?
You look to the north wall where Brilinya described that there should be a window there. She's actively looking right now. She can see the golem. She can see the window that it's looking through. But Vale, as you look at that wall, all you see is stone.
And I don't see any other doors or do I see anything else?
You don't. You've got Taliel, the door, some loose stones knocking around in here, and all the demon faces that are kind of engraved into the walls as the room spins. Also, Vale, I need a dexterity saving throw from you at the start of your turn.
All right, then. I failed.
You will take 8 points of bludgeoning damage as you try to get your feet under you and you catch on the edge of one of these demon faces and you kind of go down hard on a shoulder and before you're able to sort of right yourself. So that doesn't count as your action. That's just what you have happen at the start of your turn. Taliel, I also forgot to have you make that dexterity saving throw at advantage. Telling you, this trap is a complicated trap. You're muted. You're muted if you were trying to talk.
Oh, dang it. Dexterity saving throw, you said?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's 15.
So you will take 5 points of bludgeoning damage. All right, Vale, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll have to. So if I can go to that far wall, and I'm just gonna start trying to feel around for like maybe it's a false maybe it's just like a how to say, maybe a hologram. No, maybe it's just an illusion.
Sure.
So maybe I can try and like.
Yeah, give me an investigation check. It's going to be at disadvantage because the room is spinning beneath your feet. So you're kind of having to run like a hamster in a hamster wheel as you're investigating this wall.
That's another natural one. 2 in a row.
Yeah, you basically succeed in holding your hand in one place that feels like stone as you're kind of going, all right, I want to... You're making like a really small circle like this as you're trying to stabilize yourself. So that's Vale's turn. Brilinya, you see Vale struggling with your ghostly gaze in this room below. And he's not showing any signs that he can see through this window. What would you like to do? No, Taliel, that did not take into account your resistance, so you would only take 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Question is, can Brilinya see, is there any torch in that room with the...
Is there a torch in the room with the doohickey? Let's see. He's in room that. Let me see. No, that room was dark and dusty. It was standing in the dark.
Okay, that is fine. In that case, Brilinya is going to try and cast Conjure Elemental in that area where the Tomb Guardian is. She wants to cast an air elemental. The conjure.
All right, you call forth an elemental servant. Choose an area of air, earth, fire, water that fills a 10-foot cube within range. Within 10 feet. Interesting. This doesn't even say that you have to be able to see that space.
I changed my mind. I was going to cast Banishment on it, which you have to see, but then I thought that maybe I wouldn't be able to pull up the lever, so maybe the elemental could just like, I don't know.
Okay, so yeah. So
cool.
you're gonna call up an actual air elemental.
Yes. Yep. So it's gonna roll. I believe it rolls its own initiative.
Go ahead and do that. You should be able to do this as well, but I'm bringing up the air elemental stats.
Yeah, I already got it.
Okay.
So that is going. Whoa. It's a +5 dex. That's gonna be a 19 for the initiative.
Okay. So that's going to put it at number... Just going to change our order. Because I also have to now roll for the Tomb Guardian.
Yes.
As well.
And...
So the Tomb Guardian gets... Okay, so the new order is going to be Taliel. Air Elemental goes second. Vale goes third. Brilinya goes fourth. Walu goes fifth. The Room Axe, and then the Tomb Guardian. With this 7. So, okay. Perfect. So you with your ghostly gaze, your ghostly gaze goes away. So you see your elemental, you just see it sort of coalescing, and it's almost as if it's drawing from your vision, and as it forms up, all you see is stone and your regular vision once again. And that is going to that's an action to cast that spell, correct?
Yes.
Oh no, it takes you 1 minute to cast that spell. Casting time on Conjure Elemental is 1 minute.
Oh no, I didn't see that. I've been doing it wrong this whole time.
You know what? We are at the last, like, 80% of Tomb of Annihilation, and you've been casting it this way this whole time.
Oh no.
I'm going to let it stand. You cast it as an action.
I'm sorry.
Nope.
didn't
Hey,
see
that's
that.
on me. That's on me just as much. I never looked at it, and we've been doing this countless elementals you've conjured instantly, and we never caught it, so I'm not going to retcon it. I'm going to allow it. Brilinya has a unique ability. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's fine. No, I love it. It still fits in with that you burned an entire action just to be able to even try to see into that space, so don't worry about it. I'm fine with it. So it is in that room, and it will be fighting on its initiative with the Tomb Guardian. Qualu, the passage into the room down below is now open.
Do you need to help get out of there? Pass me the rope. Qualu shut down to Vale and Taliel.
You see down in the room below just brightness. And you, Taliel and Vale, you hear Qualu calling down, "Do you need help?" That's my Qualu impression. "Do you need help?"
Us need helps? Hello?
Taliel, next to your head, you suddenly hear, "Whoa, things look like they're not going too well for you down here. I'm not bothered at all by this. I'm just floating here. There's nothing spinning around. You look like you're having a one hell of a time in here. The green one wants to know if you need any help getting out." "You all right over there, elf? Half elf?"
Yeah. Now are we out of combat or no?
Nope. It's just a little flavor. As
I was going to say, because I'm pretty sure it's not my turn to throw up the rope.
It was just basically relaying Qualu's message down to Taliel. As I suddenly realized that Yak hadn't been involved at all.
I was enjoying that. Taliel would call back, "A little busy. Could use your help though. Can't throw the rope. Come down here. Help me open a door."
Qualu, you see Yak the skull come floating back up. "She says she's pretty much got it under control, but you can come down if you want."
How far of a drop is it? 15 feet, you said?
You have no idea. All you see is bright light.
Oh. Well, did Vale respond at all?
You heard, "Ooh!"
Because if Vale did not survive the fall, then...
Well,
Taliel
you've heard Vale's voice. You've heard both their
Okay,
voices
cool.
down
Yeah,
there.
you know what? Qualu will drop down. Just...
All right, give me a dexterity saving throw at a disadvantage, because the room is spinning.
Oh, with disadvantage, that's a 14.
You land, and as your feet touch down, no problem. But then your feet keep moving, and you face plant.
Owie.
You will take 9 points of bludgeoning damage. But that's your movement. What would you like to do for your turn?
Qualu kind of looks around and sees... So imagine he'll see that Taliel's kind of fidgeting with the door, trying to get it open.
Immediately next to you is Vale with one hand on the wall, and he appears to be just running in place to try to stay upright. And then about 10 feet or so away from you to the side at the other end of the room is Taliel, struggling in vain to get a door open.
Taliel, step aside! And I think that, Qualu will try to bull rush and slam into the door. Just trying to power it open.
Okay.
I I don't know if you can like, how well you can run at something when the room is rotating, but
I'll have you make a strength athletics check at disadvantage.
all right, let's do this. Well, that's a waste of a nat 20. That's a 13.
You go running at it, but you're struggling with the fact that the room is rotating. And by the time you get to the door, you just sort of go thunk, and you're it's almost like you just ran up and slammed against it to say hi to Taliel. No force was put behind it. All right. Qualu. No, Vale, you were the second one in the room, so roll me a d20.
Alrighty. Ooh, I'm going to roll my AdCon d20. No modifiers, right?
Nope.
Okay, it is a 14.
Okay. All around the room, 6-inch stone spikes suddenly go. If or when anybody takes at the start of their turn takes damage from the room, you will take additional piercing damage from the spikes.
Look, Jake.
So
I'm gonna level with you, man. If you just want to kill us off, like, just do it. I mean, this is just, you're getting a little silly here. I mean, you're throwing us into an actual rock tumbler, and now you put the spikes in the inside. I mean, come on.
So, it is now the Tomb Guardian's turn. The Tomb Guardian does not attack the air elemental, though none of you know that. So it is now Taliel's turn. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. That is a straight save.
It's a dirty 20.
All right, that is a save, so you will take 1/4 damage. You are going to take 11. That is, for the save, is halved to 6, which is halved again to 3 points of bludgeoning. And 14 points of piercing, which will be halved for your save to 7, which is halved again to 4 for your resistance.
Okay, so 3 and 4.
So 7 total, 3 bludgeoning, 4 piercing from the spikes and the wall, and it is your turn.
Okay, does it look like 2 of us can grab onto the door and try and open it at the same time?
It absolutely does.
Okay, so can I guess, I don't know if it's best to aid Qualu or have Qualu aid me. But I guess maybe I'll hold my action to do that so that he's there and we can do it together.
Vale goes immediately after you if you can communicate for Vale to come help and if he can get there. Otherwise, you can hold until it's Qualu's turn because he's right there.
Yeah, I'll hold till Qualu's turn, and then we can do it together.
Okay. Megan, you have a air elemental that you commanded to attack the Tomb Guardian, correct?
Yes.
So go ahead and have it do its attacks against the Tomb Guardian.
So it's going to move into the Tomb Guardian space.
Sure.
And it's going to use its whirlwind effect, which has to make a DC 13 strength saving throw.
Okay, so that is a natural 20 on the
Can
save.
I get you to roll that?
You absolutely can. That's going to knock you guys from 16 down to 14. So that changes this. Wait, that didn't work. I need to turn that off. There we go. And then that becomes... Okay. So I'm going to re-roll that, and it's a natural 19. So that's a 23 to save.
Okay. Then it does nothing.
All right,
It's very
but
windy.
you don't have any idea what's happening in that room. Vale, it's your turn.
All right, now, since it's the start of my turn, do I have to make like a dexterity
Yes, you have to make
saving?
a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage.
Nailed it. I love that. I did the exact same thing as Qualu. I got a nat 20 and I got a 2. However, my dex is 8, so I got a 10.
It's still a fail. You'll take 13 points of bludgeoning damage, and you will take 7 points of piercing damage.
So 20.
20 total. Which leaves you at, is 76 the number you just adjusted to, or are you at lower than that?
I am lower than that. I'm at
Okay.
56.
It just hasn't updated. Oh, there it goes.
Up, dude.
Okay. It's a lot quicker than it used to be. Okay. So that's just your saving throw. What would you like to do?
I guess I'll try to keep finding this window.
All right. Another investigation check at
With
disadvantage.
disadvantage, yeah. Oh, that's better. That'll be a 13.
So you kind of find your feet as you momentarily lost them and Clamp got kind of rocked against some of these spikes and the walls, and then you pick yourself up and you are running and dodging the spikes as you're taking your steps. You're able to move your hand around and determine that this entire wall is stone. If there is a window on the other side of this wall, it is magical. I would also like to take this opportunity to offer all of you that I'm going to allow Brilinya to do this because she was looking into the room with ghostly gaze, to make an insight check. Ghostly gaze does not help Brilinya. Vale? Taliel?
Sure.
Qualu?
Give it a shot. Now, wait, would this be with disadvantage?
Nope. It's just an insight check.
Oh,
14.
okay.
What'd you say,
Ooh.
Qualu?
14.
I got a dirty 20.
And Taliel? 10. Vale and Qualu, it's kind of sticking in your mind. You're noticing that Yak, the golden skull, is just minding his own business, floating around in the middle of the room. Something that hovers is not affected by the damaging effects of this room, at least the effects you've seen so far, and are able to maintain a perfectly upright posture. Do with that information what you will. Brilinya, it is your turn.
Brilinya does not want to go into that room. She is going to yell down to see if she can hear anyone, and if anyone responds.
Sorry, what was that?
Okay. Just to see if anyone responds.
Yes, I am responding.
Qualu will shout back.
We're trying to get this door open.
What can I do to help? She would call out.
You're ready to catch the rope if Vale throws it, I guess.
Okay, I can do that.
You want to hold an action for anything, Brilinya?
Yeah, she would hold the action to catch the rope, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Qualu. Taliel has been
follow-
waiting for you, so she can assist. So you two decide if you're going to try to open the door. It's a strength athletics check at advantage. You decide which of you wants to make the roll.
I think that Qualu will point out Qualu's bashed in a lot of doors before, so he'll show Taliel where to bash the door in this particular one, to give her the aid.
Okay, so I'm
are,
rolling.
Are you bashing or are you attempting to strong arm it open?
Strong. I would
Strong
prefer to
arm. Yeah.
strong over.
Okay.
To Qualu, they're the same thing. His vocabulary isn't broad enough to say strong arm.
So that's a 23. Which
the two of you are working on this door and using the tactic you've been using, Taliel, of trying to just pull this door open. You can tell that it could possibly come open, but even with your improved strength, you don't seem to have quite enough. You have not been able to put enough into it to pull the door open. So Qualu, you aided as your action. Do you have anything else you'd like to do?
What type of door is this on this that we're trying to strong arm open? Is it wood, stone, metal, plasticine? Bone?
I'm gonna say that this is a I'm gonna say that this is a banded wooden door since it's not telling me what kind of door it is.
All right, perfect. Qualu will kind of nod to Taliel. Seems the locks are a bit too strong. We'll have to ram our way through as he gets his staff of striking ready to smash it open and then for next turn.
Okay. So the third person in the room was Qualu, so I would like you to roll a d20.
Oh, also, I got to roll for the tumbling around.
Yes, thank you.
That's right.
Yep.
So while this is happening,
Dexterity save at disadvantage.
I'm tripping over my own feet, getting slashed by knives. I got a 12, so.
So you are going to take 9 points of bludgeoning and 15 points of piercing. And then I would like you to roll a d20.
All right. Here we go. That's an 11.
I need everybody in the room to make a wisdom saving throw. As the eyes, first you notice that the stone spikes disappear.
Oh, thank goodness.
And in the same moment, the eyes flash and sparkle, sending bright lights flickering into the room once again. So, wisdom saving throw. Vale.
12.
Qualu, you are blinded by these lights.
Yeah, that's fun.
You see nothing but... It's like your vision sees continuous sparkling light. Taliel.
13.
You also are blinded. Did you make your save at advantage?
I did.
Vale.
17.
You are only momentarily blinded, but you notice that Qualu and Taliel seem to be... Their eyes blinking and they're moving their hands around. They have been blinded by this. And Taliel and Qualu... This feels like if you looked right into the sun and your vision was permanently or temporarily hit with these bright spots of light, but it doesn't seem to be going away. The Tomb Guardian is going to, now that it's been attacked by the air elemental, the Tomb Guardian is going to make 2 attacks against the air elemental. Those are going to be a 17 and a 16, which are both going to hit the air elemental. Except I think it has resistance to non-magical. Nope. It does not have resistance because the golem's attacks are magical. So it will take full damage. So 2 attacks, it's going to take 4d8. So the air elemental takes 2, 7, 13, 21 points of bludgeoning damage. And it takes 10, 15 points of piercing damage from its 2 spiked gauntlet attacks. So that was, what, 36 points of damage to the air elemental. And that brings us back to the top of the order. I would like to take this opportunity to take a break because we're 20 minutes past break and I really have to pee. So we're going to take a break in the combat. We're going to take a quick, well, it's going to be 10 minutes no matter how quick we go. We are going to take a 10-minute break. We will return with the rest of this session-long room trap in 10 minutes. So please stick around. We'll see you on the other side of the break. We'll be right back. And we're back. I was just sharing with the players the side view diagram from Tomb of Annihilation and the map version to help them better understand that. I highly encourage you to look it up. Look up this trap. It's from level 3 of the Tomb of Annihilation, unless you don't want to be spoiled. It's from level 3 of the actual Tomb of the Nine Gods, and it's room 38 A, B, and C. And boy, everybody agrees that it's a very difficult representation from the drawings that are provided to then try to extrapolate that into theater of the mind. So that's why this has taken a little while for everybody to get a handle on what's going on in this room. So whose turn did we leave off on?
I believe you said top of the order.
That is correct. I waited until we were there. So Taliel, it is once again your turn. You have made a couple of attempts to burst through, or rather brute strength your way through by trying to open this door. What would you like to do now?
I would like to take out my longsword and start bashing it like Kualu has suggested.
All right. Whether from tactics or frustration,
Frustration, I think.
Taliel just suddenly pulls out her sword and begins to attack the door. So go ahead and make your attack rolls.
I get 3 of them. Are they at disadvantage or anything?
I'm going to say that they are just straight rolls.
Okay. I'm just going to roll them all together. So we have a 14, then a 24, then a 15.
The 14 and the 15 seem to have no effect on the door. They sort of, your arm sort of reverberates as you strike the iron banding on the wooden door. But that, you get 1 solid hit in on the door. So go ahead and roll your damage.
That'll be 9 points of slashing.
You take a chunk of wood out. It's not huge, but you do damage the door. There might be something to Kualu's idea.
Mm-hmm.
Vale, at the other end of the room, Taliel is suddenly hacking away at the door. As a bit of a retcon, as we understand how this is actually laid out on this wall. I said offline, but I'll say again for the chat's benefit. As you were sort of trying to find this, what Brilinya said was a window that you thought might be illusory, or maybe was some illusion magic was disguising it. Instead, what you're able to feel is the mechanism. You feel the rumbling of gears and some sort of mechanism on the other side of this wall controlling the rotation of this room. Though you don't quite know what that looks like, So there's a little bit of a retcon of the information you got. What would you like to do? And actually, Taliel, I need you to make your dexterity saving throw, and Vale, I'm going to need one from you as well at the start of your turn.
Sounds good.
There's no spikes anymore. Oh, Taliel, I'm going to need you to re-roll your 24 attack because you are blind.
Okay. So Dex, the Dex save is 12 this time.
So you will take 5. That is reduced for your resistance.
That's already reduced. Okay.
Yep.
5.
You take 5 bludgeoning damage. Reroll that 24 attack for me.
It's actually better. I would.
Okay,
have got
so you did manage to
26.
hit it, but you're just striking it where you know the door to be. Vale,
Yeah.
how'd you do on your deck save?
19.
So you're going to take half of 15, so you're going to take 8 points of bludgeoning damage from the tumbling of the room. And what would you like to do?
I'd like to make my way over, and I will also attack the door.
So tumbling across the room, taking a couple knocks on the knee. As he does so, Vale attacks the door.
And not with disadvantage, right? Because I was only temporarily blinded.
Right. It's
Like,
just
would it
it's just a straight roll.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, it's something. It's a 16.
You strike down at the door, and you're attacking with your rapier.
Yeah.
Rapier gets caught in the gap between the banding and the wood. And if you'd have been just maybe a half inch higher, you'd have hit it and done some damage. But unfortunately, that does not count.
All right. Well, I'll use my second attack then to.
I'm gonna say I think you have a second attack.
Yeah. All right, and that's again 16. So it's
Same thing. It's
enough.
just not quite enough to damage the door.
All right.
Actually, I skipped over your air elemental, Brilinya. Your air elemental is engaged currently with the Tube Guardian.
It's going to do 2 attacks, and I pre-rolled. That's going to be a 26 and a 20 to hit.
Both of those will hit. Yeah, every time I say that somebody is engaged with somebody else, I resist the urge to say, they shall be married in the morning. Which is from, whoa, what is that called? The one with the princess in the modern times. Anyway, it's like Enchanted or something like I can't remember.
Ella Enchanted?
It's not Ella Enchanted. That's the one where that's in their world. It's Amy Adams and anyway, somebody will figure it out. Somebody in chat probably knows what it is. Anyway, what's the damage on your attacks? Your air elementals attacks?
That's going to be 22.
Those are what type of damage? You were doing the multi-attack slam?
Yeah, bludgeoning.
The 22. Okay. Okay. Then it was Vale's turn. Vale already went. So then that takes us to Brilinya. You're still up in the hallway, peering down below. You're hearing lots of crashing, smashing. Suddenly there's a golden skull in your face. He's like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. It is not going very good down there for them. They are getting knocked around. Some of them are blind. They've been stabbed and bludgeoned, and they're all attacking a door. Unless this is a normal Friday night for you.
No, I really do need to go down there and help them. And she just kind of like breathes in and out. She's gonna swallow her fear and jump in.
All right, make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. It is a 14.
Okay, so right off the bat, you take 5 bludgeoning damage as you fall in. It's further than you anticipated, and then you take another 11 bludgeoning damage as the floor continues to move beneath you, and your feet come out from under you. You're slammed on your back, and you do that thing where when your back hits, your head slams back against the stone. So that was your movement. You can now see, now that you're in this room, Qualu and Taliel seem to be not quite looking. Their eyes are kind of darting around, glazed over a bit, though they both have weapons in hand, or at least Taliel has a weapon in hand. Vale is just pulling his rapier out from the wood of the door at the far end of the room. What would you like to do?
All right. I can obviously see that they're blind, and then from what Yak told me, I'm not metagaming.
No, he straight up told you they were blind, so
Yeah.
he didn't tell you which two, but you can pretty much surmise. Like, I imagine Vale just sort of glancing over and making eye contact with you for a moment. Taliel and Qualu, they're making eye contact with no one.
Yeah. So it's lesser restoration, right? That blinded. Yes. So she's going to cast lesser restoration on one of them. On Qualu.
Qualu, you feel Brilinya's, I believe lesser restoration is a touch attack, or a touch. Yeah. You feel Brilinya's fingers, I imagine, touching your eyes. And when she removes her hand, you see your vision swims for a moment, and then you see Brilinya looking at you. You see Qualu's eyes sort of focus, and as they kind of suddenly see you.
And she kind of smiles, and then as a bonus action, I am going to use my healing light bonus action to heal myself for a few points.
Okay. Physician, heal thyself. That'll bring us to Qualu, who can now see. What would you like to do?
Got a 5 for my keep balance roll. So I'm going to take the bludgeoning damage. As I remind you about your trap.
Yes. Sorry. So yeah, make your dexterity saving throw.
Yep, I got a 5.
So you'll take 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Qualu is fine.
As the trap continues to chip away at you.
I think that this would make me enter my rage if I were a barbarian, but I am not. I'm a sophisticated man who thinks about a lot of things. He's a philosopher. Qualu will use his rod of thinking to think at this door 3 times.
Think hardly. With each strike, Qualu involuntarily making goat sounds.
So I got a 29 to hit.
Yep.
A 20 to hit.
Yep.
And a 27 to hit.
All 3 of those are hits.
All right. This is going to be 10 magical bludgeoning, 16 magical bludgeoning for 26 total, and 14 magical bludgeoning for 40 points total.
With the final blow, Qualu, and Taliel, you can't see this, but you can hear the bleeding goat sounds. You can hear the wood striking wood, and the rest of you see as Qualu just starts wailing on this door. And with that third blast, the door shatters. You can hear the wood splintering, the iron banding breaking apart out into the further room. And you have opened the door, though the room continues to spin. And it is now the room's action. Brilinya, roll me a d20.
Okay. That is an 18.
An 18 or a 19?
18.
Okay. Because there's a big difference between an 18 and a 19 on this table. Once again, stone spikes emerge from the walls. It is the Tomb Guardian's attack up in the other room. He's going to make 2 attacks, a 17 and a 1. So he's going to do 10 points of bludgeoning damage and 11 points of piercing, so 21 total points of magical damage to your air elemental. And with that 1, he makes a mistake, hits the wall, and opens himself up to a opportunity attack from the air elemental.
Cool. I got a dirty 20.
That's a hit.
8, 9, 10, 11 plus 16 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay. Somewhere on the other side of a wall that you can't see, there is an epic battle taking place in a tiny room. And that takes us to the top of the order. Taliel, you heard the door break open, though you cannot see anything. And you can feel the change in the air pressure, and you feel the change in the dankness of the air coming from the other side of the door. Or what was the door? What would you like to do?
Well, I'm going to go towards that. I want to go towards the open of the door is. If that's
make your
English.
dexterity saving throw.
Save. Yeah. That is a 19.
So that'll be a save. So you're going to take 14, cut in half a 7, cut in half again for your ability. You'll take 4 points of bludgeoning, and 13, cut in half to 7, cut in half again to 4 piercing.
4 and 4.
As
Okay.
you stumble through into... How far are you going to move?
I'm going to move far enough that the world is not spinning around me anymore.
So you take a few steps, you pass through the door, and you are in a non-spinning area.
Okay, and I think I would take like a step or two to the side so that I'm not blocking the door.
If you try to step either to the left or to the right, you find that you run into a wall. You are in a 5-foot wide area.
Okay.
So you're going to stand there, or you're going to continue walking forward?
I will walk forward with my arm, like my shoulder rubbing up against the wall that I stepped into. I don't want to go too far, so I think I'll probably go about another 5 feet or so, just enough for somebody else to come in.
All right, you
behind
take
me.
another 5 feet, and your hand leaves the wall next to you, and you feel as though you've walked into a wider room.
Okay, perfect.
So you're going to stop there.
Yeah, I'll take 2 steps
Excellent.
in. Yeah. As a bonus action, I would like to do second wind.
Yeah, excellent. So you can go ahead and get a little bit of healing there. And that is going to take us to the air elemental. It can make its attacks. Here, Megan, here's what I'd like to do. I would like you to roll a D100.
Okay. $74.
Okay. You're not sure how it happened, but for the time being, just know that the fight between the air elemental and the Tomb Guardian will continue as you guys begin to leave this room. And your air elemental, unless you dismiss it, actually I don't think you can dismiss it. I think it just stays for an hour, if I remember correctly. So you can hope that it's going to be able to defeat the Tomb Guardian, or it gets defeated. You just don't know what happens.
Okay.
But it's your choice. At any time, you can give up your concentration on it and just kind of let it turn loose.
Yeah, you know what? I think she would. Because if I break my concentration, it'll just
stay there and
it'll just stay there and attack it.
Okay.
it becomes hostile towards anything near it. So
Excellent. So that was the air elemental's turn. Vale. The door is now open before you. You see Taliel take a step through the door, and you can see into this other room. And she steps through, and then she takes another step. And you see that Taliel is... let me find out what room this is. You see that she is standing on the edge of a pit. Like her toes are right up against the edge of a pit. If she takes another step, she's going to drop into a hole. What would you like to do? And how hard do you push her in? Just kidding. Next to your ear veil, you hear, I know you're thinking about it. The thought has crossed your mind.
All right, so the door is busted,
Gone.
right?
It's gone.
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably actually
make a dexterity saving throw.
That's what I was about to be like. I gotta do that.
I don't think I've remembered it once. I think you guys have all had to remember for me.
Hey, you know what? I gotta play a fair game.
Hey, I appreciate honest players.
But quick, just remind me, it's with disadvantage, right?
Yes. Oh no, it's just sorry. It is at disadvantage. It's straight roll.
I was gonna say, hang on a second, because don't tell me I've been doing it wrong all this time, taking all head damage for nothing. Okay, so I have a 10. So
you are going to take
work.
15 points of bludgeoning damage.
And the spikes are back?
Still there. Whoops, that scared me for a second. I rolled the percentile die and rolled a 30. I'm like, wait a minute.
You're taking 7,000 points of damage.
So you'll take 15 bludgeoning and 7 piercing.
Okay, 22. All right.
Just taking a look at how everybody's doing.
The suck is real now.
This room chipped away at you guys. You got nickeled and dimed on your hit points through this whole thing. All right. But yeah, you get a little cut up, you get a little bashed up. What are you doing?
Yep.
You heading out?
Yeah. I think I've like donated quite enough blood to this trap, so I'm gonna be doing my best Roadrunner impression.
As you move forward to get out of the room, Yak, the Golden Skull, zips ahead to Taliel. Taliel, you suddenly hear in your ear, "You know, if you'd have just gone a few more feet, you'd be all the way into this room. There is a big treasure chest here." And Vale, how far are you going to go? You can go, as you go through the 5 foot, as soon as you pass through the door, it's like this kind of like little 5 foot alcove. And then you see that you are in a 15 foot wide, you are in a room that is nearly 30 foot by 30 foot. But there's a 15 foot wide and a 15 foot deep pit in the middle of the chamber. So there's a bit of a walkway all the way around it. And as you step forward, you can see that at the bottom of the pit, there's an 8 foot tall clay figure that stands motionless beside a stone treasure chest. A silver key hangs from a cord around the figure's neck. 2 9 foot tall stone statues stand atop plinths on either side of the pit. A third plinth against the south wall stands empty. One of the statues depicts a hooded and bearded male figure with his left hand held high, index finger pointed up. The other portrays an armored male knight with his gauntleted right hand extended, its palm facing inward toward the knight.
Well, that doesn't seem like a trap at all. So
you basically got Taliel directly in front of you, standing on the edge of this pit, about to fall in. There is also, it should be noted, there is a 5-foot wide and indeterminately long hallway going to the west out of this room. So, as you enter the room, you come up behind Taliel. What are you doing?
And sorry, how much would it be to push her in?
It would just be it's just a shove action.
No, I'm not doing that. Jeez. Sort of a monster, are you?
Just be thankful you weren't also blinded stumbling out of this room.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh. Hang on a minute. There's something, this is kind of important here. Is Taliel still blinded?
She is.
Okay. I am going to use my lay on hands. And so just a quick thing on the lay on hands thing, though. 'Cause if I use 5 HP, I can cure a disease or neutralize a poison. Would this blindness be any sort of thing on that, or no?
No, this is a condition. And having seen Brilinya do it, you would know that, like she literally just did it to Qualu.
Yeah.
You would know that it would take at least a lesser restoration to remove this blindness.
Okay. All right. Dang. Okay, I'm just gonna grab a hold of Taliel and just don't worry.
Watch out, he's going to push you.
I'm not going to push you. Don't listen to him. He's an idiot. So, look. You're standing in front of a very large pit. So we're just going to take about 2 steps back. Okay? And I'm just going to kind of take 2 steps back. Maybe take a knee for a moment and rest.
All right. That's about 6 seconds worth of action. Brilinya. Need a dexterity saving throw.
At disadvantage?
Absolutely.
Right. Oh. That's a 2.
All right. How many hit points do you have left?
37.
Okay. You take 12 points of bludgeoning damage, which leaves you with 25. Okay. And you take 19 points of piercing damage.
I'm still alive.
And the door is open in front of you.
Yep. She is running out.
I'm seeing 3 characters on this sheet on the overlay that have red HP levels.
So, Brilinya is going to, once she is out of this room.
You see Taliel and Vale standing just in front of you. Vale has just pulled Taliel back from the edge of a pit. Taliel still seems disoriented.
She's going to rest her hand on Vale's shoulder, and you feel this radiating light. She's going to use the rest of her healing light to heal you for 24 points.
To Vale?
To Vale. And then she also, I don't know why I haven't used this before, but apparently I have it. She goes into her pocket and she feels this very soft or very smooth gem almost, and she brings it out, and it's kind of like this pearl, and it's a pearl of power that she has, probably from one of the tombs, or one of the coffins. And so she's going to use her action to gain back a spell slot at 3rd level.
Yeah, I think the Pearl of Power did come from one of the guardians, one of the 9 gods.
Yeah. And that is her turn.
That is an excellent item for a warlock to have. All right. So, Qualu, I need that saving throw from you.
Ah, you remembered. All right.
That
See how well I get
disadvantage.
slashed. I get an 8 for my saving throw.
So you are going to take 3 points of bludgeoning damage and 4 points of piercing damage, as you just managed to sort of avoid most of the movement of this room. And what would you like to do?
Brilinya made it out safely, so I'm the last one in here.
Yep.
Yeah, so Qualu will kind of hoist himself up and climb out of this tumbler of death.
All right, and it's quite crowded on the edge of this pit now.
And I will close the door behind me.
The door is
Like-
completely shattered.
There's like a little bit of like
Qualu like reaches
if I pull
out.
the door handle back,
there's
there's
one
like a giant hole.
There's one section of the door that's still on hinge. It's about a foot wide. You just reach out and go. "Er." As you do, I'm gonna roll the final D20 roll. Oh man, I really wanted a 19 or a 20. I could just make this happen, but I won't do that to you.
A 19 or a 20 is healing energy wafts out from the trap,
Exactly.
healing everyone by 10d6 hit points, right? That's what I thought it was. It's like that fountain. You know,
The
just
spikes
spam
do
of
disappear, and there is another flash of that sparkling energy. And as you are all come out of this room, the thing continues to spin for a few moments. And then you hear "Chkoo," and then whoo, whoo, whoo. The room stops spinning. And you are now standing in... Close that. I don't need that. You are now standing in... I'll describe this pit once more for everybody. Taliel's the only one who currently cannot see this. There is a 15-foot wide and 15-foot deep pit that dominates the center of this chamber. At the bottom of the pit, an 8-foot tall clay figure stands motionless beside a stone treasure chest. A silver key hangs from a cord around the figure's neck. 2 9-foot tall stone statues stand atop plinths on either side of the pit. A third plinth against the south wall stands empty. One of the statues depicts a hooded and bearded male figure with his left hand held high, index finger pointed up. The other portrays an armored male knight with his gauntleted right hand extended, palm facing inward toward the knight. Not sure how that is. Like, his gauntleted right hand is extended, palm facing toward the knight. So I guess that would be like this. As you come into the room, also note that this room is so you're all sort of on the edge of this pit looking in. The room is 35 feet, so it extends 15 feet to either side and is 25 feet total across. So on the right side and the left side, there is a 10-foot, basically 10 foot of clearance on either side of the pit. To the east, your left side as you're looking at the pit, though you don't see any sort of door or passageway, Vale, you realize that seems to sort of line up with when you were looking at the balcony through that crawl space previously. That seems to be where those stairs would have led. Like maybe they lead to the other side of that wall. To your right, centered in that wall, is a 5-foot wide hallway extending further to the west. What would you like to do?
before we do anything, Brilinya is going to put her hand gently on Taliel's shoulder, just to not to frighten her. Is going to cover her eyes and is going to cast Lesser Restoration, using that spell slot so that she can see now.
And as Brilinya removes her hand, Taliel, you suddenly realize, though you're pulled back from the edge, you realize that you came close to walking into that pit.
And she would turn to Vale at this point, knowing that Vale pulled her back from this, and thank you.
Well, that was a close one. I did not think we were going to make it through.
Oh, you be quiet. You wanted me to walk into the pit.
I didn't want you to walk into the pit. I thought Vale was going to push you into the pit. He looked like it. He was coming awful fast behind you. I'm looking out for you. I have your best interests in mind. Hey, did you see that? There was some kind of silver thing around that statue's neck. Wonder if there's any gems down there.
Why don't you go get it?
I'm going to go take a look and see if there's a gem down there. And the skull begins to float down, and when it gets parallel with the floor of the room that you're standing on, the top of the pit, it goes, doosh, oh, boom, boom, boom. I can't get through. Something is blocking me.
Keep trying. Matter of fact, you should do it harder. Just keep on, like, smashing through. You've got this. We all believe in you.
I see what you're trying to do, but I'm still going to do it. And you watch as this skull goes, doo, 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 and it pulls itself further. He hovers up to the ceiling. Doosh, 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 doosh. And he's going faster and faster. Non-stop. And all of a sudden he just goes, I don't think I can make it through there. There's no damage to the skull whatsoever.
Right, well, I tried.
It was fun watching.
But it also appears as though there is, at least for the skull anyway, there appears to be some sort of invisible barrier preventing him from floating down below.
So Taliel, seeing this, she wants to place like I guess kneel down on the floor and place her hand. Does her hand go through the pit?
You place your hand down and you feel resistance, and it feels like a solid object, but there's a sort of a gentle sort of thrumming vibration of magical energy, as there appears to be an invisible wall of force preventing your hand from passing through.
There was some these things on either side.
Yeah, so you have two statues that are facing the pit. And one of them is the bearded and hooded figure that has his left hand held high with his finger pointing up. And the other one is a knight with his hand extended out, palm facing toward him. Unless it's a typo when it's doing this. But I would like everybody looking at these statues to go ahead and make a... give me an intelligence religion check.
I'm 8. I know the gods.
12. Sorry, I talked over you, Brilinya.
What'd you get, bro?
19.
And Vale.
Oh, thank God. I got a 10.
Taliel and Brilinya. You recognize these statues. Brilinya, you remember them in a brief flash. from the constant drilling from Brother Matthias in the monastery that you should know all of the gods, because you should know those that are beneficial and those that are heretical. So you have studied all gods to some degree. How much of that information you retained is directly coincides with how hard Brother Matthias struck you with a bamboo rod across the knuckles when you failed to even properly pronounce their names. And Taliel, for you, it's a little bit different. You remember their names, though maybe not much about them. The bearded figure is Azoth, the god of wizardry. But the one you know for sure, Taliel, is the knight figure, is the god Torm, the god of courage and self-sacrifice. What else would you guys like to do in this room beyond just staring at the statues and identifying them?
So this must be the gods. Blue. For this room.
Have a tablet and a chalk to write them? You know their names.
It could mean to write them as in like put them in their proper order to make them right. And she like gestures
I was thinking of the wrong right. Excuse me, my bad.
She gestures to the blank thing on the south side. So maybe perhaps there's something that needs to go in there. On there.
Perhaps I should stand there.
Maybe you should.
I will. And Colin will stand on it.
You're going to go across to the opposite side and stand on the empty plinth?
I will.
Okay.
And I'll make some pose to pretend I'm a statue.
As you stand on the plinth, you notice as you're going to step on it that it seems to be you're walking by. Do you go to the right or the left when you head over to that side?
The left, let's say.
All right, so you go to the left. So you walk past the statue of Torm, and you realize that that plinth looks the same as the one that you're about to go stand on, and you see that it is on a rotating spring-loaded gear.
Oh.
And looking across, you can see that the other statue of Azoth is also on a rotating spring-loaded gear. It looks as though these statues can rotate.
I think that the statues can turn if we twist them.
That's the right that we need to do. Turning them to the right.
Or turning them so they're facing the right way.
Which way is right, if not to the right? I think Qualu will, instead of standing on the plinth, he'll go to the one he passed, that was Torm. He'll just try twisting it to see if it twists properly. And he'll twist it to the right.
Which one?
The Torm.
So before he does that, I just want to know, is Torm facing into the room?
They're both staring at each other across the pit.
Okay.
So you're going to move the statue of Torm, and you're going to rotate it to the right?
Yeah.
Instead of standing on the plinth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, maybe we need to turn them at the same time. So Brilinya would stop it. Stop Qualu from doing that. And then go over.
To be helpful.
Go over to the other one, Azuth. Azoth, whatever. And just yell out 1, 2, 3 to turn to the right.
Do we turn on 3 or turn after 3?
1, 2, 3, turn. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Do you count or I count?
I'll count.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, turn.
Turn.
You both turn your statues. And you hear in rapid succession, almost simultaneously, you hear from the third plinth a sort of an exchange of air inward and outward and a shimmering above the third plinth.
Oh, good thing I was not standing there.
So it did something.
Do they do them by themselves or both at the same time?
Do you hold?
Try
Are you
twisting
holding the
yours.
statues, or did you let go of them?
I think we're holding them in place.
Okay. You feel a little bit of resistance. Like the statues turned easily enough to the right, but they want to reset back to center position. They're not like fighting against you, but that's the sort of spring load that's in the mechanism.
So while
Brilinya,
that,
do we want to reset them now?
before you do, let me just check something. And Taliel would reach out again to see if that force field is still there.
It is.
Well, we figured out something here. Brilliant. Do you want to reset and have our statues face each other again?
But
This
they
time
seem
I
to
will
want
only
to
turn
do-
mine.
Wait, which of the two gods again? It's Azimuth.
Azuth, the
Azuth?
wizard, the god of wizardry, and Torm, the god of courage and self-sacrifice.
Okay.
Did you see that? When
What
you
if you
did that,
put- what
something
if you do-
happened over here. And
What if you do Azuth first?
Yak is hovering over by the third, or over by the empty plinth.
Okay, I'll do Azuth.
Yeah, Azuth first, and then Tom.
Qualu has idea.
Hmm.
Since we have a fifth person with us who is a bit more expendable, and that's a big word for Qualu to use, and we know something occurs upon the third plinth, perhaps we use our good friend the Jester to be of service to us here, to see what happens. I imagine if
completely not
he's
paying
so
attention.
indestructible-
He's sort of doing the golden hovering skull equivalent of a dog sniffing around on the plinth. He seems to be looking just out of curiosity, but yeah, he's not paying attention to anything you just said.
A golden skull, will you please do me one favor? It is all I've asked for you. It is my only conversation I've had with you so far. I've talked with you exactly
What do you
once.
want?
I would like you to hover, please, over that third plinth.
You want me
Where
to
you are
hover
near
over
right
the
now.
third plinth that I'm currently hovering over?
Yes, just if you would be so kind as to move approximately 1 foot to be over top of the plinth, please. And thank you, says Qualu.
He hovers 1 foot up, but stays in place exactly where he is, hovering above the third plinth.
We're above the plinth now, yes? Good, good, good.
Right where I was the whole time.
Stay there, please.
Okay, so then Brilinya would turn once they've reset. Brilinya would turn Azuth.
You turn Azuth to the right, and there is a... And Yak goes, whoa! That was very weird. I imagine if I had a skirt right now, it would have been blown up. I'm glad I don't have a skirt.
Good enough.
But nothing has happened.
Stay there. My turn. And Qualu will, after Berlina resets hers, Qualu will turn Torm to the right to see what happens to the poor old golden skull. So glad we got this little guinea pig. It's great.
I know, it just worked out. So you turn the statue of Torm, and there is a... And Yak, the golden skull, vanishes. And you hear from down below, Taliel, where you're kind of feeling if the force wall is still there, you suddenly see down below as Yak, the golden skull, appears in that space. And he goes, "Hey, this is kind of neat. All of a sudden I'm down here. Oh, look. This statue is moving. Ow! Hey, cut that out!" As the statue down below starts pummeling the golden skull. And it's literally just knocking him around the room, going over to him and hitting him again.
Have we seen this golden skull move its jaw when it talks, or is it more telepathic?
A little bit of both.
Okay. Qualu has second idea. Listen, everybody. And Qualu yells down as loud as he can through this force field because he thinks that it mutes the sound. Skull, I want you to grab the key.
I'm a little poo. Busy at the moment. I see what the poo I can do for you.
I will give you a gem if you do this for me. A tasty gem.
Wow. I'm rolling all single digits. He's trying and he keeps getting clobbered by this thing. I will roll one more. And I rolled a nat 20. I rolled a 2, a 6, an 8, a 7, an 11, and I said, you know what, I'm going to roll one more, and I rolled a nat 20. All of a sudden, it darts in under the clay golem's grip, and you see it zip through, and in its teeth, it grabs this silver key. I got the key! What do you want now?
Lydia, I think it's your turn now.
Okay. And Brilinya will turn.
And just as the golem slams into the skull and knocks it, Brilinya turns Azuth, and there's a and Yak, the golden skull, appears above the plinth and goes flying across the room, hits the wall, and the key goes flying out of his mouth and lands on the wall of force, hovering above the pit. Whew! That was a lot more fun than I thought it would be. Turns out, I don't feel any pain.
That is handy. Very, very handy.
He's not handy, he is teethy. See how he grabbed the key?
So how far away from me is the key right now?
About 5-6 feet.
Just make him pick it up. Don't bother. What if the thing's trapped? Play fit with dog.
I'm thinking that I don't know if I want to use it right now. I have a grappling hook, so I think I'm going to just kind of grapple hook and try to land it on the other side and then pull it back so that the key comes to me where I can grab it.
Okay. We can assume you would just keep trying this until you succeeded.
Yeah.
The grappling hook does not pass through the wall of force. And you try a couple times and you hook the key and drag it to you.
Perfect. I now have the key.
You now have a key that appears to go to a chest that is down in the pit with the clay golem.
Yeah.
And absolutely a similar thing now with the chest. If the chest will be carried by one of us. Perhaps the skull can carry the chest too. I do not know how powerful and strong it is, but if looks can be deceiving, then oh boy, will I be deceived when it carries it.
Or a couple of us could go down and fight the golem.
I wonder if, do you think magic can pass through?
I don't know what magic can and cannot do with things that I didn't understand.
So Brilinya's going to go up to the thing, up to the edge, and with her wand of wonder, she's just going to just cast it at the golem, just to see what happens.
Okay. Roll a D100.
Okay. That is an 88.
1 second. Because I need to see a couple of things here. So 88 is going to be... Okay, hold on a second. I think Yak might really like this.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Hold on one second. I have to check the Wall of Force real quick.
Block spells if that's what happens. In which case
doesn't-
it'll take effect on our side of the Wall of Force.
It says, well, if nothing physical can pass through the wall.
Oh.
And you created a physical effect. So, why don't you go ahead and describe what shoots out of the end of your wand as you aim it at the Wall of Force?
Okay, so I rolled a 3 on the d4.
Okay.
So immediately from this wand, you see it begin to glow and light up, and then all of a sudden this stream comes out, flowing out of the wand, and the stream is gems. So many gems of different colors and shapes and sizes come just flowing out.
Well, I guess what I promised the poor skull, I guess you will get.
Oh, at this point, Yak is, if you've ever seen like when a cat goes chasing after a fly, now imagine that there's 30 brightly colored flies in the room. Yak is bouncing around the room, grabbing all these gems and devouring them. Other than that, no effect. However, anybody that is a spellcaster can make an Arcana check for me.
I got a 37 for Qualu. Just kidding.
13.
3. I got a big 3.
I got this. I got a 6.
Brilinya, you suspect that while your Wand of Wonder, you realize that what you did was it cast an effect that created a physical item that couldn't pass through the wall. But because you can see through it, you could probably cast something on the other side that allows anything that would allow something to be conjured or manifested on the other side of it would probably work.
She would say that to the others. She's like, well, unfortunately, though, I seem to be weak on any spells.
Qualu sees a dilemma in front of us. There is a statue that smashes us at the base. The chest requires this key to open.
You
if someone
did.
is nimble and quick, they could go in and we could coordinate and turn the statues to let them in and out to grab the chest. But Nicola looked down and it probably looks like it's like a big chest, isn't it?
Looking down at it, you can easily see that this chest is not so much large as it is made of stone. So it's probably heavy. It looks like somebody with some strength has the chance of lifting it. Does anybody remember offhand what the push-pull lift is?
Isn't it 10 times your
I thought it was 15. Oh, here we go. I have it. Oh, I thought I had it. Other strength checks. Lifting and carrying. Here we go. Lifting and carrying. Your strength score determines the amount of weight you can bear. Carrying capacity. Push, pull, drag. You can push, drag, or lift the weight in pounds up to twice your carrying capacity, or 30 times your strength score.
Oh, perfect. That's 600 for me.
Taliel, what is it for you? Because you have a strength score of 23, right?
That'll be 660 then.
So both of you look at this chest. Give me an intelligence check.
Math time. Natural 20.
Oh,
Qualu.
yeah.
I told you Qualu's a philosopher.
Oh, well, I got a 17, so yeah.
Qualu's a practical philosopher.
Yeah.
You do these quick, all of you look, and getting a little anachronistic, you see that meme of Qualu's face, and all these calculations are moving in front of his face as he does the calculations real quick and realizes you could probably lift this chest.
I think Qualu probably helps build a house at one point out of stone bricks. He's like, yeah, he knows how heavy stone is because we built a house. So
Yeah, I used to build stone. I used to build stone houses out of bricks back home, and this chest doesn't look like it's much bigger than that.
Yeah.
So
I will go, says Qualu.
yeah. Also gonna I'm gonna cast a spell because it's been bugging me. But I'm gonna be casting Cure Wounds on Brilinya.
This whole time, Brilinya's barely holding on. She's bleeding profusely.
Yeah, what? That's just it. It's like, and everyone's like, "Hey, let's check this thing out. Let's check this thing out." No, can I please just let's just do this, okay? Come on, man.
Thank you.
Okay,
Qualu
so
will step upon the third plinth.
And it's at level 3. So it's a 3d8 plus 3.
so if Qualu's while he's doing that, if Qualu's going to be the one to go in, who's gonna rate the statues?
Taliel, you know
Brilinya.
how to twist something to the right.
Yeah, you don't need help. You can do this by yourself.
Yeah, one person can turn it.
No, I mean the lifting of the chest.
I can do it. Just once I have grabbed and lifted the chest, I would like you to pull me out of there, as we have done with poor Skullman, whose name I try my best to forget.
It's Yak. It is Yak. Yak, yackety yak.
All
Yeah,
you do
fuck
is
back.
yak. Oh no, now I have a way of remembering your name. Oh no! I have been defeated.
So Taliel will definitely be on the side to turn Torm to the right.
All right. Qualu. You take up your position and you ready yourself. Who's turning which statue first?
Torm was the send you down one, so I believe
Just quickly
Taliel's.
though,
Yeah.
how much did Vale heal me? I don't want to.
Thank you. Thank you. 24.
Thank you.
You're thinking it could be the matter of life and death?
Probably,
Thank you.
Okay.
That's what long rests are for.
Taliel is going to turn Torm. Qualu's going to grab the chest. Brilinya is going to turn Azuth. I would like I'm going to make these be either strength athletics or dexterity checks from Taliel and Brilinya.
Qualu's expecting to get clobbered down there.
I am going to use my point of inspiration that I got last session. That is much better. I rolled a 2 the last time, so
I didn't roll very well, but I'm thinking it's okay. I got a 17 on athletics.
Okay. Brilinya, what'd you get on your dex?
I got a 23 on Dex.
Okay. So, Qualu is only going to get attacked once while he's down there. He's going to be open to, or rather to one attack action while he's down there. If you had gotten too low, then he would have been down there a little bit longer. Taliel, you rotate Torm. And there is a Qualu vanishes and appears down below. Qualu, all of a sudden, the golem, which had stopped moving as soon as Yak came up, turns towards you and advances. It is going to make 2 slam attacks versus you. The first one is going to be a 14 to hit.
That'll hit.
The second one is a natural 1, so it will miss you. You can attack it if you wish with an opportunity attack, but that will mean that you will be down here longer.
I will decline.
It is going to do 17 points of bludgeoning damage to you. And I need a Constitution saving throw from you.
All right. 18 on the die for a 25.
Okay, you're fine. That's all that happens. As you reach for the chest and get your hands on either side of it, you just get pummeled in the back by this thing. Its other fist slams into the wall. You see that opportunity to make an attack on it, but you choose to grab the chest instead. Brilinya, you see below as Qualu gets slammed and then grabs the chest. And very quickly, instinctively, almost, you turn the statue of Azuth, and there is a... And suddenly Qualu is standing on the plinth, holding the chest.
And I'll drop it to the ground next to me, not on my own foot. Actually,
All right.
Right.
And Taliel will come over with the key and try and open it.
I think Qualu's like stretching his back out to after getting clobbered.
Open up the chest, and you find a piece of parchment that says, "The real treasure is the friends you made along the way." I'm kidding. Inside, you find 2 crystal eyes. One of these is pale green. The other is pink. If I'm not mistaken, you now have 7 crystal eyes. And 1, that is where we're going to end tonight's session. I was hopeful you could get through this room much quicker than the last room. I didn't want to have a 1-room session. And I will leave it up to you. You can absolutely choose. This room seems safe enough, though you don't know what is at the end. I'll say this. You can take a rest if you investigate the hallway and make sure it's... Well, you can take a rest if you don't, I guess. It's up to you. You don't know what's down that hallway, though.
Before we even go out of that room, Taliel wants to remember to go back and get that rope of climbing that was left in the other room.
You absolutely can go get your staff, Dice. Sorry, I always think of the first Provokers campaign whenever I think of somebody leaving something behind. Check out Provokers on Fistful of Dice. Season 1 and Season 2, which features our own Mike the Piper. Okay, so you get your rope climbing. Yeah, you guys can absolutely take a short rest. Yes, you can do that.
Yeah, I think we should do that before we start next session, so we don't have to even think about it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and you can, any features that are regained, actually if you just hit the short rest button on D&D Beyond, it'll take care of that for you, and it will bring up the clicker for however many hit dice you choose to expend. Malkara Darkwell, I think is how that's said in the chat, says they say, I like how the one who was blinded is the one who has the most health. Taliel, you did not take much damage during all of that, but that's less about that than it is you just because you have that feature that protects you from plus you made a lot of your saves, so you quartered most of the damage that you took during that time. If not for that, I think you'd be in the same boat as everybody else. You would have taken you'd be pretty low comparatively.
Yeah, I did heal. Like I did my second wind as well. So
Oh, that's
I
right.
healed
Yeah, you
about
did do a second
20.
win.
Yeah, almost 20 points right there. So
it looks like Brilinya spent some hit dice. So, yeah, you now have 7 of how many? Who knows? Crystal eyes. So I guess it was appropriate that I called this session "The Eyes Have It," as you gained a few more eyes. And yeah, just as a reminder for your notes, there is that hallway passage to the west that you can all see goes for about 30 feet and then turns north. And you suspect there may be some sort of passage on the east wall, though it must be hidden, because Vale, you recall, that lines up with where that balcony was in the room with the floating platforms and the statue on the far side. So that is where we are going to end tonight's session. As always, thank you to Mike, Kaeryn, Megan, and Connor. This was a tricky trap to kind of get under, get so we were all on the same page understanding. And it could have brutalized, well, it did brutalize you, but it could have ended some people. And you gained a few more of these crystal eyes. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight, hung out with us for the last couple hours while we played. I see that we had a few newer people in chat popping in tonight, so welcome if you are new here, and welcome if you are a regular here. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the follow button up there to be notified whenever we go live. And if you are a Twitch Prime user, you get, and if you're not, and you're an Amazon Prime user, you can link your accounts and you get 1 free subscription every month. Why not consider using that free subscription for Mini Terrain Domain? Because not only do we have Chult of Personality on Sunday nights with these fine Canadians, on Mondays we have All That Glitters, where you can see myself and Mike the Piper as Dungeon Master, and Megan is also a player in that as well. In our All That Glitters Waterdeep Dragon Heist game, this Tuesday will be the return of Legends and Legacies, an Alt Tuesdays game featuring some amazing role players, among whom is Kaeryn. Let me look the right way. Kaeryn. And then on opposite Tuesdays, Kaeryn, Connor, and I we are at the whim of Megan, along with some others, on the Dice on Ice RPG channel for Curse of Strahd. Every second and fourth Wednesday of the month, you can find Connor game mastering and Megan producing Spire the City Must Fall right here on Mini Terrain Domain at 9 p.m. And Thursday nights, once again, Megan is here on the channel along with me and some other players for our for our Dawnbringers Ghosts of Saltmarsh campaign that I think we figured out that one was in 45 episodes over the last year and a half-ish, and is in season 3. Friday nights, tune in at 10 p.m. Eastern to see Alan from Check for Traps run his own Curse of Strahd game right here on the channel. And starting in February, and this is actually going to be over on YouTube, preceding Alan's Curse of Strahd game, starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern and going until approximately 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So for 2 hours on Friday nights, I will be doing a live crafting stream over on youtube.com/miniterraindomain. Whatever I happen to be working on, miniatures I'm painting, projects I'm building, experiments, whatever it is, I'm going to do it live on the channel to get more crafting content out there. Come along, hang out with me in the chat, and see what's going on. Stay tuned. Follow everybody's social media down here in the little corners to keep up with what we're up to. Remember yeah, that's what I was going to say. Remember to check everybody's social media, which I just said. It's that point of the stream where I'm talking in circles, so it is time to go. Once again, thank you, everybody. We are going to go ahead and we are going to end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.